Welcome welcome friends to the newest edition of Seahawkers What If, the most unique Seahawks preview show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner, and for the first time ever on What If, it is the Montana Seahawker coming in for Brandon, Mr. Adam Emmerich. Adam, first time for you on What If. How's it doing, dude?
Well, it was a little sprung on me here since, Brandon's such a slacker and decided to do his real job instead of come on the show. Like, how dare he? So I took the opportunity to come here and, be my first guest appearance here on What If. I don't even know how to say the show's name. It's so new to me. Like, I stumble over my words.
It's new. It's like, TGI Friday, new to you. It's amazing. We're happy to have you. It's only Thursday when we're recording this. And of course, folks, if it is What If, by now we cannot traverse the Seahawks multiverse without the protector of the Seahawks multiverse down there, center stage. That is Mr. Phil Leidick. Mr. Phil, is this the revenge game? We got mollywomped, borrowing some vocabulary from our buddy Adam there. We got our turkeys stuffed for us on Thanksgiving. And now it's time to battle these 49ers once again. Mr. Phil, how are you feeling as we get into this week? It's either we go 0 for 5 in this gauntlet, which is still ongoing, or we freaking break it. We break it somehow and we get this W. We're going to talk about it all, but Mr. Phil, how are you feeling as we get to this game?
I do sports for fun, so I think we're gonna have fun. We'll find a way to have fun. I think we're getting one of these. Why not this one, right? So
yes, love it. Look, hey, they did lose 3 in a row at some point. Adam, you covered on the flagship, and folks talked about it. There was some good Seahawkers Nest pod. They talked about what happened in those 3 games. Why did they lose 3 in a row? And I'm sure we'll have our takes on that as well. A little shout out to those dudes from the Seahawks Nest podcast. Always doing a good job. Mr. Phil, you always like to lead us in with a previously with a protector. Well, last game was what? I think we were all watching. Eagles, Niners. What did you see? What do you want to tell us?
Well, I don't know if you're able to bring it up, Clinton.
Oh, totally. Yes, there we go.
He is.
There we go.
He's in the Brandon chair. He's got the
That's
skills.
It.
Hit the button. There we go. This is what we printed up here. I think most of us watched this game. It was kind of a smashing by the Niners against the Eagles. A couple interesting things stood out when you check out the stats. You watch the game, and the Niners are dominating. Their offense is 3rd by DVOA, 7th in the pass, 5 in the run. Check this out. They scored 14 points in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th quarter. That's nuts. Extremely difficult to tackle. We all know that. If there's anything that stands out about watching them, they're tough to tackle. Purdy seems to be tough to pressure right now. Kyle's got these plays just happen, snap, crackle, pop quick before anybody can breathe on him. Debo and CMC, of course, are extremely good at football. Their main skill seems to be right place and very tough to tackle. I think we could agree there. There were no turnovers in this game at all. Their defense is 6th by DVOA. They're on the way up, but their defense is dropping a little bit against the pass for whatever reason. They're 16th against the pass, number 1 against the run. I mean, the Eagles couldn't run unless it was like 1 yard to go, I think, against them. Kinlaw had a couple sacks. Warner, I think he's the best middle linebacker in football, and he's just always got guys in the right place. Very tough to find space against. Bosa was handled pretty decently, but I think as they tried to stop Bosa, they ended up getting hit other places. The Niners struggled against A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, but they kept him out of getting touchdowns. But they really, not completely, but they did struggle to stop them from getting open and making catches. The Eagles actually had more plays, more time of possession, but were destroyed when it came to yards per play. I mean, the Niners were like at 8 yards per play. Eagles were down in the 4s. So that was the difference in the game. Not turnovers, not plays, but how well they were at executing plays. Anything else stand out to you while you watch this game?
A couple things that really jumped off the page to me was we hear so much about the Eagles' vaunted defensive line and their vaunted offensive line. And to watch the 49ers basically neutralize that on both sides of the ball, the Eagles defensive line, you said it's hard to get, pressure on Purdy there. And you're right. He sat back there and patted the ball all day. And that's against that very good defensive line. And then offensively speaking for the Eagles, the most success they had passing the football, while they had a difficult time maybe in coverage against AJ Brown and Devonta Smith. They really did get after Jalen Hurts quite a bit. And the majority of the success that they had was Jalen Hurts on the move and leaving the pocket. So something to note if you're Shane Waldron, I don't know, maybe move the pocket a little bit this week. It seemed to help for Jalen Hurts, that's for sure.
Yeah, good stuff there. And I know we'll get into the game fully for sure. The one thing I would say is that the Phillies defensive line from a sack perspective has been underwhelming. They have not performed as well, certainly not as well as last year. That was a bonanza year. It's been a little underwhelming. You think Eagles, you think they're getting all these sacks. They're actually not performing all that well in the sack category. But with that, the 49ers line it's good. I'm sure we'll get into all that as well. All right. So, Mr. Phil,
that question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to make sure we all realize this here as a fan base going into this. Did we lose worse to the Niners last time, or did the Eagles lose worse to the Niners?
I think 23 is more than 18, right? If my math is correct.
Okay. Just something to think on as we speak about the next couple weeks here.
Yeah.
We had
absolutely.
some quarters that were okay. The Eagles really didn't, except for the first was 0-0 or something. That's about it.
It definitely made you feel better. What's that? Schreidenfrau? What's the German word for, is that correct?
I don't know.
Yeah.
In the middle of it, you'll have it.
Yeah. So taking enjoyment in other people's, misery essentially. Right. So it did have a little bit of that, but like, oh, it's not just us. We're not the only people that can't tackle Deebo Samuel. So that factor was there. And with that, we gotta win this game, or play a lot better this game to get ready for the Eagles in the following week. We'll see which one of the two maybe happens there. But Phil, you got something. What do you got?
They had like 43 or 41 yards. I can't remember on the ground with over 20 runs. It was not working for them whatsoever. They tried and tried.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So, and I know we want to get over to the also rotate it to the theme for this week. Before we do that, just want to remind folks, hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the subscribes, hit the likes, youtube.com/Seahawkers podcast. Still 5 shows a week, every single week during the year, all unique shows. Just go out to Seahawkers Pod, share it with different 12s. And if you're so inclined, getintheflock.com. Go there to do a monthly donation, a monthly contribution, but you get awesome perks. Adam, you talked about the Discord on the flagship show. It's been on fire. What's one thing you love about our Discord?
Oh, geez, Louise. It's guessing who belongs to which username. That's a fun game for me to play. I do enjoy that. But the thing that I genuinely enjoy about it the most is just how passionate everybody is. And no matter whether or not you come at it from, one lens or another, everybody's in total agreement that, our number one priority is the Seahawks win and win forever. And just that discourse throughout a game and the differing viewpoints I find enjoyable. So just a cool crew, man. It's if you're not doing it, if you're not in the Discord on game day, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, just getintheflock.com and get involved. I just love I love the inside jokes. There's a lot of inside rolling jokes because it's a really good group of people, all bonded by our insane love for a national football team, which is fun. So, all right, we got our theme. So, Mr. Phil, he always cooks up for those that might be new to What If. I think it's the most unique preview show. We don't just say that for the flair of it, because Mr. Phil every single week curates a unique theme to go along with it, and we don't know what it's going to be. We walk into it blind. We've got to answer the questions live, and it's live fire in a really cool way. So, Mr. Phil will bring it back up on stage. What is our theme this week?
Gentlemen, my dad always thought he was so funny to say what he called was a joke, but I think it was more torture. And he would ask, hey guys, Pete and Repeat were walking down the street. Pete fell off. Who was left? And he'd get you to say repeat. And then I had other family members just thought it was funny to get someone to say repeat and then say it over and over and over again. And when I think about Pete Carroll, one thing against the Niners right now that I don't want to see is repeating. Now, a few years ago, I was all about the way we were crushing them over and over again. But last year, we lost. Then we lost again. Then we go to the playoffs and lost again. And then I go to the game on Thanksgiving after enjoying a wonderful day of Thanksgiving, as thankful as I could be. And what happened? Another repeat. And I couldn't make myself watch Kittle with his racket nonsense and eating there at the stadium. We left. Someone said I should watch it. I started to, and I said, I don't want to see this. And so there's something I don't want to see. As we face the Niners this Sunday, I don't want to see another repeat of how we've been playing against the Niners. So here's the theme, gentlemen. What if Pete can avoid the repeat down in Santa Clara this year? And so as we get ready for our, let's see, this will be our 13th game in the regular season this year, which means we will go to Brandon, who isn't here. We have Adam filling in, and here's our categories that they're loosely affiliated with the word repeat. We have rerun, persist, echo, redo, recap, or reprise. Adam, where do you want to go first?
Let's go with rerun for 100, Alex.
Darn, that was mine. That's the one I wanted.
Rerun was the, there we go. So what's a rerun? Remember that that line on
Yes.
Of course we do. Of course we do. Back to the Future. I saw this on a rerun. Okay.
Yeah.
Adam, what if the Hawks recommit to the run game against this top run D? Right now they're number 1 by DVOA on run D. Why is that a good or a bad idea? So this is a perfect question to ask you, Adam. Tell us, you give us your answer, though we might be able to anticipate it, but go ahead and do it.
Sure. And if you do listen to our different shows, then you know exactly how I feel about this and what the actual evidence is on the field to support this theory. And that is they need to run the ball early and often. They did it a lot against the Cowboys, and the offense exploded. They had their highest, 5 touchdowns on the day. That's the most they've scored in a season or in a game this season. So the proof is in the pudding. And the Seahawks had the most success against the 49ers in the first matchup when they started running the ball in the third quarter on that 114 play drive. That's when it started to work for them. So is it a good idea? It's not just a good idea, Phil. It's the best idea. And it's one of the number one things that they need to do, even if it doesn't look like they're getting success.
Yeah.
In terms of yards, they need to do it close to 20 times for this offense to be able to get on track against this defense. So to avoid a repeat, they have to recommit to the run this week. And it can't just be a fluke last week because of some matchup thing. That's my one big fear that I have for the post-game presser is they don't run the ball. And they ask Waldron why they didn't. And he's like, oh, well, no, it's just a different matchup. So that's why we did it then. Rather than being like, no, this is a philosophical thing and we're going to commit to it every week.
You answered all my follow-ups before I even had to ask him, Adam. So we'll just go right over to Clinton. You got anything different on that? Should we recommit to the run? Should we or should we not? What's your concern against this top run D?
Yeah, still got concerns because they are a top run D. However, you got to do it. And also, I think one of the more effective ways to do it is to run at Bosa, just to kind of leapfrog a little bit. It's like, and progress it a little bit further downfield, if you will, is running at Bosa is a mitigation strategy. And then, of course, running allows for under center play action. You know, of course, you could do shotgun play action too. However, I would prefer to see under center play action. We have our 2 anchors back. And why does under center work maybe a little bit better now? Well, because you got Cross and you got Lucas. So you have the time to do the 5 and 7 stop drop back from under center, the 5-step, and have hopefully the bit of an umbrella, clean pocket, still use play action. It sets it all up. It's the way we want to play football. When we won the NFC Championship game, I know we're going back a decade now, and Niners fans are, live in the moment, live in the now. Well, win a ring first, then you could talk to us. But we won because we could still run the darn ball. Of course, we played great defense, and that's, for my money, still the best NFL game I've ever seen is that NFC Championship game. Not just because we won; that was just a heck of a ball game. But that's the way we're gonna win. So set it up that way. Now I'll save some other parts about the run game for probably a little bit down the road because it's gonna be. I'll just tease it by saying who the heck's run the ball for us. That'll be interesting because dude just still hurt. But those are the answers.
So I'll get my little pin out here in a second so I can cross it off. But
Cool.
It's gone, Clinton. Rerun is gone. You got 5 other choices. Where are we going to go next?
All right. I like being in the outdoors, in cavernous places. And when you do that and you get a nice echo, 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 it's a delight. So echo.
Echoes are good. Here we
They
go.
are.
Or you can do it up in the mountains, right? Clinton,
Sure.
what if there's
Absolutely.
someone out in the Hawk multiverse? I know you like to do this, so I'm setting you up for one of your favorite tricks anyway. Someone out in the
Hmm.
Hawk multiverse you'd like to echo regarding this particular matchup. What's been said out there that you especially agree with, Clinton?
Okay. Yeah. I'll mention again, it depends on where it's been said, or hey, it's out there it's out there. It's a multiverse. In all the multiverses, everything's out there, right? That's
Yeah.
kind of the beauty of it. I'll give some love to the Seahawkers Nest guys again. Was listening to their pod this morning, and I always think they bring a nice blend of enough analysis with just keeping it fun and keeping it
Yeah.
light, and they do a great job with that. And they were dissecting and talking about the use of the middle of the field. And I know that's the thing that it's just over and over again. We got to talk about specifically if we have to drill into a bit deeper, echoing it. It's like, look, yeah, the shot or two to DK along the sidelines that we're probably going to take in this game, and we're going to try Ward again. Fine. What worked for the Eagles, what has worked against the 49ers is slants and bigger bodies over the middle. We don't
Safeties.
need,
Attack the
yeah,
safeties, please.
right, and get a little bit behind the linebackers. They do have a good linebacking core, but you can't avoid the middle of the field because they have good linebackers.
Yeah.
Like it
Well,
just
Greenlaw is a
it's
great pass defender, but he should be suspended. Have you heard if he is? I don't even know.
no, I do not know. I don't know with that little mix up. I'm not sure. I really don't know if he
I can't
got
imagine letting him play after he actually slugged somebody from the sideline with his fist. But
did
I
he
don't
do
know.
that? I
Oh,
didn't even
geez, Louise.
I didn't even see the whole
Do you think
thing.
that's
So
wimpy, Adam? Do you think a guy should be able to go punch some dude in the face and then play the
Okay,
next
let's
game?
characterize punch first so we make sure we're using the same lexicon here. A punch is you take a fist and you cave in a man's face. He gave
Okay.
him a tickle slap and everybody's up in arms. I'm not saying you should do it. I'm not saying he's a good guy. I'm not saying any of that stuff. What I'm saying is, in this particular instance, everybody just needs to cool their jets. Like, okay, fine. He got ejected from the one game. That's enough. My Lord.
Okay.
You
I'm
want to
not
put
saying he shouldn't have done it. I'm not saying the guy didn't deserve a fist. I just think if everybody on TV sees you make a fist and go after somebody, everybody needs to know that dude's not getting to play the next game. I know you wouldn't in a lot of other sports I watch, but I guess
mm.
football's different.
Yeah, we shall see if he's there or if he's not. I just don't want us to feel like there's like a no-fly zone and over the middle, the short middle, and the mid-middle because they have good linebackers. No, we have got to perform there regardless. So to land it, DK slants, crossers have to use that. Let's keep echoing that so it just gets into the ether. It gets picked up by Shane, the main brain, and we see it, and we stop being dependent on 3rd and 3 deep shots down the left-hand side. Like, no, 3rd and 5 slants, 3rd and 5 crosser. Let's do more of that because it actually does work. It's not just that it works against the Niners, it works across the NFL. It's really hard to defend. So do more of that.
Okay, Adam. Clinton echoed what I think is the next funniest show in the multiverse, besides the show that you and Brandon do, which is not only quality insight, but keeps me laughing the whole time. So, Adam, he echoed Seahawks Nest. Is there somebody out there in the multiverse about this matchup? You have some things to echo?
Yeah, I would want to echo KJ Wright. I think I'd
Yeah.
listen to his breakdown on why the defense isn't playing well. And first and foremost, and most importantly, that he gets to is he does not believe that the Seahawks defense is communicating properly, both pre snap and post snap. And he thinks that's the biggest problem. And that's interesting to hear because I've been railing on our show that seemingly over the middle in those intermediate zones defensively, when a guy runs through that area, we seem to just be covering space and not guys. And maybe part of that is they think they're passing it off to somebody else or they're supposed to pass it off to them or whatever it is, right? The communication that needs to take place for
Yeah.
that to happen so that it looks right. Maybe that's the root of that problem. Maybe it's not Clint Hurt saying, no, just guard this area. Maybe he has a scheme in place for how that's supposed to be covered, but the players aren't communicating on a high enough level to get it done. So if there's anything that I heard regarding this Seahawks defense over this last week that I really bought into as to, wow, that's an actual coaching change you could make this week that would make a big difference is an emphasis on communication. I heard that from KJ and I bought fully in. So that's what I would echo.
That's so strange too. You'd think that Diggs and Bobby and maybe not Jamal, I don't know, but you'd think those guys would be top level communicators, but maybe they're all wanting to do their own thing. Too many guys want to do their own thing.
Struggles.
Okay, so Echo's gone, rerun's gone. We're down to persist, redo, recap, and reprise, Adam.
I love do-over, so give me a redo.
Oh, here we go. Redo. I had to do a redo myself. I guess that was timed up perfectly. Hit the
Nailed
redo
it.
button. What if there's a strategy from last game you'd like to see them redo? Let's try it differently. Here's the thing. You go first, Adam, so you can pick offense or D, and your accomplice, which today is Clinton, will tackle the other side of the ball.
Ooh, all right. Do I want to take the low-hanging fruit and make it tough on Clinton, or am I going to try to actually do something here? All right, let's go with the defense. So,
Okay.
one of the things that, gosh, what did they do from that game defensively that I like? They got after the quarterback well. If they can replicate that sort of pass rush that they had against Dak Prescott, who had barely been sacked all year, let alone at home, against an offensive line that I think is easily one of the top 5 pass protecting offensive lines in the NFL when you're talking about Dallas. Seems like it to me. If people disagree, that's fine. But if they can replicate that, I think that's going to help them a lot, because Purdy is prone to making a mistake when you get him super rattled. Now, there are times he can get out of the pocket and make the right read and all that, and he does that. But the Bengals, they had success because they rattled Purdy a little bit. The Browns, the same way. They're going to need to do that through stunts and blitzes. They blitzed a lot against the Cowboys. I was here for it. I liked it. Let's hope they can do that.
Okay. And I guess I wasn't even thinking. I wrote last game. I should have been specific. I was thinking the last Niner game just recently, but you tied in with the Cowboys. So however you want to handle this, Clinton, I wasn't as specific as I thought I was, and that's my fault. So what would you like to see them redo? Change, adjust, do it again on the offensive side?
Yeah, I'll go offensive on the Thanksgiving game. I did take it that way. So I mentally prepared for it in the time. And I want to get pretty specific. The offense was putrid on Thanksgiving. We all remember that, right? So the easy answer is like do better. But like let's talk about getting out of the gate strong. A couple of times this year and in the Niners game, we had key drops and miscues on early offensive drives. So let's get super specific, and a nice, crisp opening drive by our Seahawks to get us out of the gate. Points, whether that hopefully not 3. We saw what happened with the Eagles when they throw the ball real successfully 2 times in a row, and it was 6-0. That didn't last too long, right? So hopefully for 7. But more importantly than maybe even the points is just crispness early from the offense, where it's like, oh, okay, identity wise, it looks like we are back to what we were doing against Dallas and other teams earlier in the year, and kind of not a complete redo from what was put on tape on that Thanksgiving game, because we were bad early and we had like just miscues and drops early too. So clean it up, first drive forward, and then hey, the rest of the game, you're not going to score on every drive. It's one of the things in the Discord where people are on such an emotional roller coaster that the moment a drive goes sour, there's like a firewall drill and things like that. I'm like, all right, listen, you're not going to score on every drive. You know, they're trying to, right? They're amazing athletes trying to stop you from scoring. But one way we have to help ourselves is just being crisper out of the gate and not having that early drop. It's haunted us a couple times in the last 3 weeks. Cannot have that. So I'll go there.
I love how you put that, Clinton, because I think in our Seahawks world, amongst the 12s, an underrated issue is execution. I mean, we're so much better at calling plays than, the people on the sideline calling plays. We can figure that out. But we look at these incredible athletes. It doesn't occur to us that sometimes they could actually execute what they're given a little bit better, and that might help us win. So I appreciate that you went there, because I think we forget that more easily.
Thank you. I appreciate that too. All right. So I am up. I know we just did a redo, which is fun. Well, you know what? Where this is the most unique preview show in the multiverse, 3 and 3 out is the most unique recap show in the multiverse. Let's go recap.
tie it in there. Here's our top 5. Clinton will go first. What if you give like a Cliff Notes recap? This is rather than, going into the whole thesis and everything, but kind of a Cliff Notes recap. Your top 5 concerns for this matchup. How would that list look? I think I sent you at least. So now this gives Adam a little chance to think of his top 5. This was the one that I gave you a hint at this week, Clinton. Top 5 concerns.
So you dropped this. I don't know if Brandon was nice enough to give Adam the memo on this one, but you did drop this earlier saying, hey, think about your top 5 concerns. So Adam, if you can't come up with 5, I would say don't sweat it, dude, because you didn't have time. Or you want to lean into some of these also, by all means, do what you got to do. But I had the time, so these are my 5. And it's no particular order. However, the first one that came to my brain was this. If we leave Bobby in bad spots where he's chasing crossers again, it's doomsday. It's absolute doomsday. I know we got 5, so we got to be kind of quick. But watching Bobby move laterally at this point in his career, it's not good. So let's not overdo that, please. I talked about the running back conundrum earlier. Look, if we have no K9 and no Sharps, are we really going to go DJ Dallas for the win? Because that's going to be tough. So do we have the gumption to go Kenny Mack or Saroderick? Do we just look, DJ is a okay third choice back. He's not the premier guy. If we have to give the rock to somebody, let it be Saroderick. We saw what he could do. Adam, you call him a slasher. I think that's absolutely a perfect description of the guy, right? The late, great Alex Collins, he kind of ran like that guy, right? So like to see that. Number 3 I had was not enough commitment to heating up Purdy. Like if we're blitzing and combining that with cover 0, cover 1, I know we don't do a lot of that, but this team devours the soft zone, the zone stuff. So can we do that? That was number 3 for me. 4 was, we talked about DK. I led with that earlier, too much outside. So DK over the middle. And then quickly for the 5th one was, this one's just like not getting bullied. And really what that boils down to is the antithesis of that is like tackling. It's probably then how do we tackle? Right. Yeah. Because we can't have Debo running us over again. We can't have George Kittle running Adams over again. It's like, we can't walk out of this game and be like, okay, we got bullied again. We got shoved around again. I'm not saying we win this game, but if we lose this game by 14, 15, 17, 21, and we just get bullied, it's going to be very difficult to recover as other teams who are tied with us are starting to pull ahead because they got weaker schedules, Rams, Packers, et cetera, et cetera. Those are my 5. Adam had a little bit of time to think about it. What do you think, dude?
So why I called it recap, Adam, is because we've all had time to think about this game with our friends, our fellow podcasters. In your case, it kind of just boiled down as we think about these games. This is the 5 concerns that I'm most worried about, Adam.
Yeah. Okay. So number 1 I would go to would be penalties. If they don't get a handle on penalties, in especially DPI, it could be a long day. It could be a very, very long day. And the Seahawks really, they had 2 things to fix offensively to fix their offense. I talked about it before the Cowboys game. One was run the ball. The second was clean up the penalties. They got one of them, so let's get both of them. The number 2 concern that I'd have in this game is that once again, we see an incomplete effort from the team as a whole. What I'm talking about is either showing up in the first half and then fade in the second half, or the defense shows up, but the offense does it, or vice versa. Or, Myers misses whatever it is, not seeing a complete game from this team, you are not going to win this football game. Number 3 is Geno Smith taking care of the football and being sure that we do not lose the turnover battle. You can't lose penalties and turnovers when you're facing a superior foe on the road. So they're definitely going to need to do that. Number 4 for me would be Abe Lucas playing the entire game. We saw him rotate in and out last week. I know it was his first game back, but if he's not in there for the vast majority of the game, we have problems. And number 5 would be running the football early and often. But again, just like Clinton was saying, doing it with DJ Dallas. I mean, I like DJ Dallas fine, but the whole reason he's on the roster is because he is a Swiss Army knife of sorts and can do a lot of different things and can be your emergency running back in a game like he was last week. This week, if Sharps and K9 can't go, yes, we need to split some carries more so between Kenny Mack, and Sarajic Thompson than we do DJ Dallas. Those would be my 5 concerns.
Love it.
Wow.
Yeah, I could mention all those. I would love to see our listeners, those watching on YouTube, put your top 5 concerns about this game in the comments. I'm interested to read those, but those were definitely some of the ones. For me, I'd say number 1 is tackling, but I think Clinton said that, and that I'm just concerned about us getting better at that. But there's definitely a number of them to be concerned with. We've done recap. We're down to reprise and persist. Adam.
I like persist.
Okay. And I think you'll like this question. I hope so. I hope I finally got it to where it makes some sense here. Adam, what if there's one position group that must persist in an aspect of this game? Who should keep chopping until, because we're going to Santa Clara. That's the town we're going to. We want to chop down the tree. Keep chopping until they fall Santa's tree. What group's got to be persistent at something, Adam?
That's a really good question. And this time I'm actually going to answer your actual question rather than making up a different version of your question and answering that. I would say it would be the interior defensive linemen. They really do have to keep chopping throughout this game. McCaffrey is going to get his. Don't get it twisted. He's a hell of a player, and they really do scheme him up. But if you can keep those, 25-yard gains to 8-yard gains, and just try to keep McCaffrey from getting the explosives on the ground, I think that's going to help you throughout the course of the game. So that interior defensive line, Jay Reed and crew, that's where we need the most persistent effort throughout the game to have a shot.
How about you, Clinton?
Yeah, love that. And by the way, want to give Adam some kudos for stepping in live and belting out 5 of those. That's
awesome.
To be fair, I did have about a 2-minute heads up before the pod, and Brandon, the last thing he texted me was like, "Oh yeah, on 5 things you should be concerned about." Then I forgot about it. So until we got to the question. So yeah, I had a little heads up. Yeah,
it was great.
A little heads up. But you did well. You did well. Okay, I'll go to a different area. I loved your answer, by the way, Adam. I think it might be like if this is the Family Feud, number 1 answer on the board type thing. Love that. I'm going to take it over to the DB room, and it's because the way in which we have to play is going to be in a way that, like, we're not afraid for the PI call. We've got to play aggressive. We've got to be jamming the guys at the line. We've got to body the dudes and figure it out early on. What are the refs going to allow or not allow, and not be afraid and timid of getting the next PI call, because the Niners they're good. They're good. We keep going over this, between Ayuk and Debo and then Kittle, and they have other weapons around there too. They're not a star-studded, but they are a good team. They know how to run. They know how to move the ball. Tons of, not even misdirection, but just a complex system off of the same look over and over and over again. We just don't know what they're doing. So how do you combat that? Aggressiveness from the DBs, hopefully some more man jamming at the line, and just not being afraid that, number 1, don't be afraid if you get burnt deep. It's okay. It's okay. Rather they take chances versus being soft. And then, just being physical. And if you get flagged for it, so friggin' be it. It's okay. They're going to move the ball. I'd rather they be a little physical, the type of game where they're bringing their hat, they're bringing their hands, their bodies, and let the refs kind of gauge how much they're going to allow or not allow, and live with it, because it's the NFL. And we all know the refs are not good across the NFL, but I'd rather see them do that than be timid.
I mean, wouldn't you rather Taylor had smashed Dak than just try to be careful to avoid the roughing the passer, things like that? And everybody on the Niners is a tough tackle. Even Jennings, who's not a great player, he's a tough tackle. Juszczyk, he hardly plays anymore. He's a tough tackle. I don't think Kyle puts them on the field unless they're a tough tackle. You gotta bring the hammer on these guys. I am so with you on this, Clinton. Over and over and over. They're not going down easy.
Nope, they ain't. They're a good team.
So
all right, that leaves me with reprise. Yes,
we're at reprise.
I like it.
Okay, so now we get to think back so that we can think forward. Clinton, what if there's an attitude or approach the Hawks can reenact in this matchup? What tactics from the past should Pete make present for us to get back to when we beat the Niners instead of repeat losing to them?
Yeah, it's been a while, right? But talk, this is three, like I said, 3 games last year, got smacked this year. So it's been quite a while. And then even in some years past, like 2019, it was kind of clowny hero ball that won that game on Monday Night Football. So let's get in the Wayback Machine. And I mentioned it earlier. I realized that we are not the 2013 Seattle Seahawks. I realized that. But in many ways, this is not the 2013 Niners. That was a tougher team in some ways also. Let's just dial back to if we could harness and bring back some beast mode. I realize that, how do you do that? How do you bring back beast mode, especially if DJ Dallas is out there? Well, it's about the commitment to the run. And if we remember that game, we were down 10-0 in a blink of an eye in that game because we had Russell tried to spin out of a sack. He fumbled it like on the 5-yard line. They score. They're up 10-0. And then what did we do? Talk about chopping down the tree. We just ran the ball. Russ did his thing, of course, and we chipped away. So it's like the persistence and the commitment to run the ball. And I'll go with one more little caveat is now that we are pretty much healthy across the offensive line, can we run the ball effectively to both sides? Can we be honest on both sides? I know this is the number 1 run defense. I get all that. But if we want to win, we're going to have to run the ball at least fairly effectively and stick with it and get enough. Because what they are, right? I got the Rocky 4 behind me. It's like catching some body blows on Drago. Like you gotta catch some body blows on those dudes and get the time possession, own the longer drives. And how do you do that? You run the freaking ball effectively. So let's go old school. Let's go 2013. Let's summons the soul of beast mode. And let's run the friggin' ball, figure it out versus these Niners. I know it's hard, easier said than done, but it's what's got to be done if we want to win.
What do you got on this, Adam?
Totally agree with everything Clinton had there. But let's also think about what Pete Carroll has the days of the week of practice labeled, right? It's like tell the truth Monday.
Yeah.
Turnover Tuesday.
Turnover Wednesday or is it Tuesday?
Turnover Thursday.
Okay.
Turnover
Thursday. Tuesday. Yeah, you know what he needs to reprise this entire week is Turnover Tuesday every freaking day. One of the things about this Niners team that we've all talked about throughout the pod is that they're hard to bring down. How many times did we see defenders hanging off of Debo or McCaffrey or Kittle while they kind of drag people forward and they stay up and they stay up and they stay up? When guys are like that, they're vulnerable to turning the ball over if you concentrate on that. They're sitting there under attack for a long time while up on their feet while the ball is live to be had. Turnover Tuesday every single day of the week. Be punching that thing out. If you can't take them down, at least take the ball. It's all about the ball. Let's reprise Turnover Tuesday every day. It's tacos every day of the week at Seahawks practice this week. Taco Tuesday.
I love that, Adam. I'll give you Mookie from Field Goals. He had a post, I think it was today. Here's what he put. The 49ers since 2022. They're 23-1 with 0-1 giveaways. They're 0-7 with 2 or more giveaways. Wow. So you might have nailed the only way that we beat the Niners is taking that ball.
Wow. My stats don't lie there, man. That's impressive.
So I don't know why I just got to my what if Superhawk, but we're going to fix this thing here real quick. So
no problem. Take your time. We got the magic of Hollywood on our side.
I apologize for that. What we do need to get is to our From the Flock. That's where I was trying to get to as we've completed our questions. The Flocker wishing well for this week. I asked them to throw some wishes, some what if Superhawks, some things they wish will happen on this game. Car was in it within like seconds of me asking. And her wish is either K9 or Charbs play and have 100+ yard day. I hope one of those come true. I hope both of those come true. Wouldn't it be sweet if K9 was out there? Design Pete's Beach House. Her wish, we get a chance to see what Kenny Mack can do. I would like that. Witherfork, Boye gets back to early season form with 1.5 sacks. Frost, wish the D-line harasses Purdy, throwing him off. Leo 1+ sacks, Diggs, 1 interception. Mitch, we win. I'll take that one. If I don't get any other wishes, I'll take that one, Mitch. And then Red Wagon, we get one of these. It's 3 weeks in a row I've got one of these, and I'm just having a hard time because if Design Peach Beach House, she got her wish that we weren't embarrassed against the Cowboys. I'm like, if she just wished for a little bit more and we got her wish, we'd all be loving this week. But here we go again. Red Wagon, we don't get embarrassed again. You guys have anything to say about any of these before we go to your wishes?
Well, I'll say quickly, you told Amy last week, hey, you got to do, she got the memo, right? Like, hey, got to do better than wishing for not embarrassed. But the baton was picked right up by Red Wagon, which is funny enough. We appreciate the pennies going into the Goonies well here, but to echo what you said last week, Phil, Red Wagon, do better. We want better wishes than just kind of scraping by and not being embarrassed.
Moral victories. Adam, do you have anything on any of these?
Yeah, one of the things that you see in here from a couple people is the idea of sacks and pressure on Brock Purdy, and I'm totally on board with that. What if I had to wish anything, it would be for Witherspoon to like have 2 sacks and a pick 6 and basically seal up Defensive Rookie of the Year in that game against the Niners, and we win by 4. That'd be my wish.
That's a lot.
It kind of plays into what they have to say. Yeah.
I love it.
We'll get into your wish actually now, Adam. You get to pick a what if Superhawk. I don't think we had any what if Superhawks come true last week, if I'm not mistaken. I checked on that. It was both Maffei's, and Maffei didn't do any big stats for us, so those didn't come true.
He was close a couple of times, but we know what close is, right?
So is that going to be your what if Superhawk? Is it going to be Spoon, or did you have something different, Adam?
Add something a little different. My what if Superhawk is for Bobby Wagner, and I'm hoping to get weird, bizarro Bobby Wagner in a Rams uniform against us the first time we saw him performance out of Bobby. You know how fired up he was to come back to Seattle in that massive game that he had against us? He's not like he's totally removed from being that player. I mean, he's basically the same exact guy. He can summon that, but it takes a special matchup, a special hatred. And it's not that he had a hatred for the Seahawks, but he had an axe to grind, right? Didn't like the way that he had been let go and all that. I imagine right now he's feeling a certain kind of way about this team and how the season has gone. And what better team to take it out on than the 49ers? So massive performance, just throwback performance to Bobby Wagner in this game. He's my Superhawk.
Yeah, why not? Kittle ate turkey on our field. So that should be good enough for Bobby. Yeah. Go get him. Clinton, who's your what if Superhawk for this game?
I'm going to compile because we don't know who's running the rock, right? So it's only Thursday, so I think I get the leniency of a compilation, but I will put a metric on there because y'all know I like my numerology. Seahawks running the ball 150 yards or more. Like let's figure out against that number 1 rush defense, and whether it's Roderick, whether it's DJ, whether one of our 2 guys come back healthy, whether it's Geno, right? Whatever it might be. Maybe it's an end around. I don't know. It's all good. If D's healthy, I think he's still got rib problems, right? Whatever it is, 150 yards. There's probably if a team did it to the Niners this year, I haven't even checked, I'd probably be shocked. That's a lot of yards. It's just I like to think about the logic of if that happens, like the if P then Q. If we rack up 150 yards, boys, we got a really good shot to win this freaking game. And I want us to win this game really badly. So that's where I'm going.
All right. 150 yards total running, not just by running backs, but just rushing. However we get it. I love it. Yep. So we got to go to our predicting the score. Brandon was closer last week because we were closer. You guys both had us in double-digit losses, and we didn't do that, but Brandon was closer. So he's up 2. Adam, you can help Clinton get closer by messing this up. But go ahead, your pick. What do you expect the score to be in this matchup, Adam?
So I have a question. How seriously does Brandon take his predictions here? Like, does he go like Homer Phantom stuff on this normally, or is he in it to win it? Does he try
wants to win big time? Yeah,
he wants to win. Okay, that was the sense I got, but I wanted to make sure that I had it right. All right. Well, if that's the case, he's gonna hate this, but I'm gonna say Niners 27, Seahawks 17.
27-17 Santa Clara. for Brandon. Okay. How about Clinton? What do you got a prediction on this game?
I am back on the Homer bandwagon. I felt dirty what I did last week. It was wrong, and I got punished for it. I am going to say somehow, some way, hook and by crook, perhaps we win this game 27-26. We win by 1. Weird number. I don't know, scoregami, perhaps. I have no idea. We win this game by 1. We get the W.
I love it, Clinton. I love it. I sure hope so. I
Me
hope Clinton's
too.
right on these for sure. You guys have anything else to add about this matchup Sunday?
Well, if I wasn't picking for Brandon, my score prediction would have been closer to Clinton's there. I genuinely believe in my heart of hearts they're getting one of the next 2 games. I
Yeah.
really do. And
That's what I think.
I would think it would be more likely to be Philadelphia at
Yeah,
home
Sure.
rather than Santa Clara and the Niners, but it could just very well be this game. I have a feeling about this one, boys. I do. I think it's going to be either another Dallas situation or they come out on top in the end, but it's going to be very close. It won't be another domination.
Well, I mean, we're going to see Santa this time of year. You know all about taking pictures for Santa.
Yeah.
Would be a beautiful picture there down there in Santa Clara if we can just avenge the nasty taste of Thanksgiving that they put in our mouth after all that lovely food we had. And anything else, Clinton?
No, I'm just the only thing I'll say is I am extremely focused. I'm focused. I really liked what I saw for so much of the game last week
Yeah.
against the Cowboys. I started to get the feeling in that game. I had watched the Bills Eagles like the week previous, and I was texting a very good friend of mine who's a Bills fan. I was like, oh man, this Cowboys Seahawks game feels like your Bills Eagles game where it's close, it's close, it's close. And then quote unquote, the better team pulls it out. They figure in that case, the Cowboys, and the other case, the Eagles, right? They pulled it out. We need to get off this schneid. We've got to be the better team and be clutch. There's going to be, hopefully, I mean, guys, I think we would all sign right now if it's like this game comes down to a play or two. I think we're like, okay, we'll take our chances with that versus what we've seen the last couple times versus the Niners. I hope we're in that situation. That's where it's like, it's a play or two. It's a game of inches type thing. And we could all be really excited and having fun in the Discord, hanging out with each other. And because the Cowboys game results stunk, but it was fun. It was a fun fan experience. So let's take that and just dial it up. Let's go to 11. In fact, let's go to 12. Let's get this W. It's possible. It is possible to beat this team. They are not unbeatable. They are not freaking Ivan Drago back there. And guess what? Rocky took down Ivan Drago on Christmas Eve in Moscow, and we got to do the same.
What if we say go Hawks, gentlemen?
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.